The man, the murder, the mystery, Arthur Leander.
As you all know, on Thursday, July 19th, Arthur Leander tragically passed away on stage during his debut of King Lear. He appeared to have a heart attack, but we believe foul play was involved. Who murdered this multi-talented film star, and why could they do such a thing?
Welcome back to today's episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Arthur Leander.
The murder mystery.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the incident report of the night. So, on the evening of July 19th at 10:14 p.m., Arthur Leander was on stage at the Align Theater, performing the Mad Scene from King Lear. He began stumbling, reciting other lines, and suddenly vomiting before he fell unconscious.
We have 5 witness statements right here on our lovely little table. So,
Witness statement number 1 was Jeevan Kadri, and he was the first responder to jump on stage, but he was off duty. Noted.
yes.
And he jumped up on stage to help Leander, but the thing about it is he did have history with him beforehand. He was the reason him and Miranda got divorced. Miranda is Leander's first wife. So, there's some tension there.
Right.
But he did save his life, so.
Okay. And witness number 2 is Elizabeth Colton, which is Arthur Leander's second wife.
So this is not the one that she...
Not the one
No.
we just said.
Okay.
So, Elizabeth, yes, they had a divorce, but they also have a kid.
So, they're still connected in that way. They flew all the way from Australia to come and see Arthur do his King Lear show, and they brought whiskey and flowers to give to Arthur.
That's sweet.
Which could be the murder.
Okay,
The murder part of the mystery.
Yeah,
There we go.
Okay.
And there's tension obviously because it's a relationship that ended. And
As one does, yeah.
yeah.
Alright, and our third witness is Tyler Leander, who is the son of Elizabeth and Arthur. He's, from what we know, he's very monotone, doesn't really care, but he did go to support Arthur. It's just, there's no connection there because Tyler lives with Elizabeth, so he doesn't really know Arthur that well, but does want to connect in some way.
Yeah.
Is he a teenager?
No, he's young.
Okay.
He's young.
So,
He's about-
He's a
yeah,
little
not like
kid,
a toddler,
I think he's like 7.
Okay.
7, 8-ish.
Yeah. Our fourth is Kirsten Raymond, who is the child actress in Arthur's play. Kirsten's gotten really close with Arthur, almost like a father figure, is what they described it as, I believe. And so, obviously there might be a little tension there because with Tyler and Elizabeth coming in to watch, that's another kid, and Kirsten's like, no, this is my dad. So maybe there could be some sharing issues there.
Yeah, and
Possibly.
her parents.
Yes, her parents.
They're never around.
They're never around. What was his dad is?
Her dad is works at a university hospital, and her mom works as a chemist, I believe, at a lab.
Okay. That could be
So,
interesting.
Low
That could
parent
be-
involvement.
Low parent involvement. All right, and our fifth witness statement is Miranda, who we said earlier was the first wife.
So there's 2 extras.
There's 2 ex-wives, only one
Both
kid
at
though.
the same show.
Okay.
Both at the same show.
See,
Yes.
that's suspicious.
Yeah.
Was it like could have been a team up type of situation?
It could have been a team up.
Yeah.
I know in our witness statement they never actually met truly because Elizabeth wasn't allowed to go backstage, but Miranda was with Arthur a lot in the
Before the
dressing room.
yeah before the show.
Yeah. So
She suggested so Kirsten actually brought tea to Leander, which could be suspicious because we don't know what's in the tea.
right.
And Miranda also, sorry,
The papers.
Miranda suggested that Arthur drink the tea.
But why?
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Because
know.
Yeah.
okay.
And obviously, by the end of the show, in one of the witness statements, it says that the tea was completely drinking, so it was drunken.
Was it just a cup or was it a pot of it?
It was a pot.
Okay.
A whole pot.
Yeah, a whole pot.
Whole pot.
And
This man
so,
drank a whole pot of tea.
yeah. And Miranda actually never saw the full show. She did not see Arthur collapse. She was actually at the airport on her way to go out of the country, and she missed her flight.
So fleeing the crime scene.
But
Right.
would she miss her flight if she murdered him?
That's true.
That's another.
And that's something we're gonna get to.
Mhm.
Maybe something doesn't go as planned. She's at the airport. She realizes it.
And then
She panics. She's late. She must.
yeah.
So earlier we mentioned whiskey and flowers. Was the whiskey ever drunk?
the whiskey was
The whiskey
drunk.
was drinking.
Okay.
We found,
Okay.
actually on the crime scene, we found an empty whiskey bottle
Okay.
under one of the chairs that was in the dressing room. Completely drinking, no whiskey left. So we did see a bit of alcohol
Okay, so here
consumption.
on our statement here, it says that it was Kirsten who went to go get the tea for him. But it was because Arthur wanted to bond with Tyler over the tea because he knew how much Tyler liked tea. However, Tyler and Elizabeth never made it to the dressing room
before the show started.
before the show started. So the tea, why was it there, you know? And so then it says that, which one was it? Miranda? Yes. So it was Miranda who suggested that Arthur drink the tea because he had already had some whiskey. But why would you suggest tea? Like, why not water?
Yeah.
Water, bread, that's what helps with the alcohol. So why tea specifically?
Yeah. Now we're going to bring on our forensic scientist who's going to explain the chemistry of the many elements that we found on the crime scene.
Okay, this is sample 1. It was a white powder, kind of crystal-like, and it was found on stage as such. This is sample 2. This sample 2, it was found in a capsule form, also on stage, kind of around the shoulder area of where Leander collapsed. And it was in the form of pills, as I said. That's what that looked like. Okay. This is sample 3, another white powder. There's a lot of white powder found in this crime scene. A little bit suspicious, but hey, that's not my job. Okay. This one was not found on stage, sorry. This one was found in the dressing room on a cart kind of situation, like a tea station, kind of. This is sample 4. This one is a little bit more powdery, fine, kind of like a flour type of material, chalky, dry, not so much granular. Sample 4 was also found on this like cart of tea stuff. All right, sample 5. This is our only liquid sample. There's a little bit left in here. We had to use a lot of it running tests. Again, our only liquid. This was found in the teacup that Leander drank the tea from, that he received from Kirsten Raymond. And finally, sample 6. Sample 6 was found all throughout Leander's dressing room. It was dumped on the floor, it was on the tables, there was handprints in it, it was spread throughout the entire dressing room. So, from these samples, we were able to identify 3 out of 6. So the tests we ran to be able to identify those are dissolving the samples in drops of HCl. We tested solubility in water. We dissolved it in drops of 1 molar HCl. We heated it. We used gravimetric analysis with reactions with test ions, iron, lead, with iron and lead. And we dissolved it in water and tested the pH level. So through these tests, we were able to identify sample 5, which is our liquid that is barely left, as PKSCN, or potassium thicyanide. Potassium thicyanide is a chemical that will cause headache, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, faintness, and death upon ingestion. All of these symptoms are identical to Leander's. Therefore, we can conclude that potassium thicyanide is likely the killing agent in Arthur Leander's murder. It should be noted that this chemical was found in the tea that Arthur consumed prior to his death. The only other person who had access to this tea was Kirsten Raymond, who also had access to the chemical due to her mother's workplace as a chemistry professor. We were able to identify sample 3, which is this white powder, as carbonates or sugar. This was found on the tea cart in the dressing room, and this rules out that powder substance. It's not dangerous. Lastly, we were able to identify sample 2. This was the powder that was found crushed on the stage next to Leander's body. This was identified as acetyl salicylic acid, commonly known as aspirin. This lines up with our witness reports that said Jimon Chandere crushed the aspirin that he received from the audience in order to prevent the heart attack into a powder to funnel it into his mouth, Leander's mouth, and flush it with water. So it seems to be that there's no foul play indicated with the aspirin powder on the stage.
So, I think it's safe to say who the culprit is. Kirsten.
Agreed. Yeah. And it's definitely not an intentional murder. I don't think that she was trying to poison Arthur, but Tyler and Elizabeth, because she was jealous.
And it lines up with the chemistry because we did find the potassium thicyanide in the tea, and Kirsten was the only one who had